Okay, here we had a single file, so we uploaded only one file to the API. But here we need a multiple files for the product gallery. In the same way, we can change this post request to accept also a multiple files. But let's make it a little bit more complicated to have a real practical example. Normally, when you are updating a product or adding a product, the second thing you do is uploading the image gallery. And this happens normally in the web shops after you create a product, everything is fine, then you go and edit the product again to upload the image gallery. So let's create a specific API only for uploading the gallery of the product. This API will be update request, not a post request. So we need the put request. So I copy this put request. Let's go to the end and add it here. And for the route, we can keep the product ID and also we can add the route where we will update only the gallery images. So here we can add gallery images and then the ID of the product. As we saw before in the post request of the product, we added also the upload option single image. We can also add it to the put request. So we can add here upload options, but not single, we will say array. So we will expect from the front end array of files. Let's call it images. And if you notice here that the array method is giving me also a max count, so you can allow maximum file upload size. So for example, I will say maximum I need 10 files or 20 files in one request. So let's put it as 10. Let's tidy more our code. So let's have this in a new line. So we can say this one is here and here the async method, and here we have the put, and we have here the content of our put request. So the update request of the product will be update exactly this data, but we will have only the images, not all the data. So we can do the same thing as we did here. Let's copy this part to see if the user is passing the exact or the right ID. We don't need to check the category because we are not updated it. So let's have this one also. But as we said, we will not add all the data. We need to update only the image. So image field will be array of images. So as we saw here, array of image strings or path of the image. So we need here somehow to build array of strings. So we can here say image paths, and this image paths will be a variable as array of strings. So how we will build this array? First, in the request, as we saw before, that we can have request.file, or if you see that we have a files also, not only file. So we can say files and will be constant files. And exactly like before, we can check if there are files, then I will loop inside these files and build the images paths array. So here I will move this up and say files.map, and this will have file. And inside this method of file, we can say image paths is .push the file .filename. But we don't have to push the file name only. We need to push also the base URL and also with the extension. So if you remember, we created here the base URL which we built for the post requests. So we can copy this part also and go to the put method and say here the base URL or the base path and we push the base path with the file name. And here we can return back the product. So exactly like the put request, we can check if there is product, then the response will be the data of the product. Otherwise, it will be error. So we copy this part and place it here. Let's test that with Postman. All what we have to do with Postman that we place multiple files here. So let's create a field, call it, for example, image, and this image will be a file, and we select 2 images, for example, and we don't forget that to change the API. So here will be gallery image, and the request is put, and we need also the ID of the product, exactly this one. Let's get our product. Our product is product 6, which we created before, and now we will add the ID here and we will send the request. We have our error. I forgot here to add products, so we will have the right path. Now we try it, and then we will see the product got updated, and we have 2 images in the gallery, and main image, it's still there. Let's check our uploads folder. We will see that we have 2 images, this one and this one. So in the front end, always we will update our gallery, or update one product and add to it the gallery images. That's all about this section. In the next section, we will see how to fetch the image URL so we can see it in the browser and in the front end, because now it's locked and we don't have access to it because it's protected with our API authentication.